Today we'll discuss the attachments of the mandible. As we have seen in the last video, this is the body of mandible. This is the external surface of the body of the mandible. This is the ramus of the mandible. This is the inner side of the ramus of the mandible, inner side of the body of the mandible. Okay. Now in the outer surface of the body, in the external surface of the body, this is triangular mental protuberance. These two tubercles are known as mental tubercles. This is mental foramen. This is oblique line. So these are the features of the external surface of the body. Now attachment. These two are the central incisors. Below the central incisor, on either side of the protuberance, this is mental protuberance. On either side of the mental protuberance, these fossa are known as incisive fossa. Below the incisor teeth, these two fossas are known as incisive fossa. This incisive fossa gives attachment to the mentalis muscle, which is a muscle of the face. Okay. This is upper border of the body of mandible or alveolar border of the body of mandible. It gives the origin of the sleep of the orbicularis oris muscle. This is mental foramen, which transmits the mental vessels and nerve. Now this is oblique line of the body of mandible. This oblique line is divided into anterior half and posterior half. Anterior part and posterior part. Anterior part gives attachment of two muscles. In front, depressor labii inferioris, and behind, depressor anguli oris. So in the anterior part of the oblique line gives two muscles, front and behind. Front gives the depressor labii inferioris and behind depressor anguli oris. And the posterior part of the oblique line near the alveolar margin, it gives attachment to the puxinator muscle. At the junction of the body and ramus, below the oblique line, structures related to facial artery, facial vein, and mandibular branch of the facial nerve. Please make the correction, as in previous video I have said the mandibular branch of the facial artery, but it is facial nerve. So again, below the oblique line at the junction of body and ramus, this area is related with the from anterior to posterior facial artery, facial vein, and mandibular branch of the facial nerve. Now, from the inner aspect of the body, you can see this is oblique line, this is mylohyoid line, this is mylohyoid line. Okay, by this mylohyoid line, inner surface is divided into upper and lower fossa. Upper fossa is known as sublingual and lower fossa is known as submandibular fossa. Okay, this oblique mylohyoid line gives attachment to the mylohyoid muscle. Area just behind the third molar tooth, this area gives attachment to the pterygomandibular raphe, which is extend from the medial pterygoid plate to this area of the mandible. Now on the near the posterior end of the mylohyoid line, this area is attached, it gives attachment to the superior constrictor of the pharynx. Muscle named superior constrictor of the pharynx attach. It gives one of the origin from this area, just posterior end of the mylohyoid line. Okay, one nerve is related to this area between posterior end of the mylohyoid line and third molar tooth. This area is related with the lingual nerve. Now this is genial tubercle, as we have seen in the last video. Just behind the symphysis menti, superior two tubercle are known as superior genial tubercle and inferior two tubercle are known as inferior genial tubercle. Now superior two genial tubercles gives attachment to the genioglossus muscle. Glossus word is related with the tongue, so tongue is lie above. So superior genial tubercle gives attachment to the genioglossus muscle, and inferior two tubercle gives attachment to the geniohyoid muscle, as hyoid bone is like below. This is the entire lower border of the body of and ramus of mandible, or you can say the base of the mandible. This is lower part. At near the symphysis menti on either side there is a small fossas which known as digastric fossa. This digastric fossa gives attachment to the anterior belly of the digastric muscle. Now entire length of the base of the mandible gives attachment to the superficial layer of the deep cervical fascia. Which deep cervical fascia? Investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. So entire length of the lower border gives attachment to the superficial layer of the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, and deep layer of the investing layer is attached to the mylohyoid line. Now this is the ramus of the mandible, external surface of the ramus of mandible, which gives attachment to the very strong muscle of mastication, masseter muscle, insertion of the masseter muscle on the lateral surface of the ramus of the mandible. Okay, except in some posterior aspect of the ramus which is occupied by the parotid gland. Otherwise, all the lateral surface is gives attachment to the masseter muscle. Now, inner aspect of the ramus of the mandible. So, in the center, this foramen is known as mandibular foramen. This mandibular foramen transmits the inferior alveolar nerves and vessel. This mandibular foramen, inside this mandibular foramen, inside the body of the mandible, there is a canal. This canal is known as mandibular canal, and this canal opens on the external side by this mental foramen. So, between the mandibular foramen and mental foramen, inside the body of mandible having a canal, this canal is known as mandibular canal, which passes inferior alveolar vessels and nerve. Okay, this is triangular projecting tongue-like area. This is known as lingula. This lingula gives attachment of one important ligament that is known as sphenomandibular ligament. So, sphenoid portion is attached to the base of skull in the spine of sphenoid, and mandibular portion is attached to the lingula. So, sphenomandibular ligament attached to the lingula of the mandible. Okay, now in front of the mandibular foramen, this is mylohyoid groove. This is mylohyoid groove, which transmits mylohyoid vessels and nerve, which branch from the inferior alveolar vessels and nerve. So this mylohyoid groove passes the mylohyoid nerves and vessel. Below the mylohyoid groove, near the angle, this area are occupied by the attachment of the medial pterygoid muscle. Now just above and behind the mandibular foramen, this area is related with the maxillary artery, and this maxillary artery gives branch to the inferior alveolar artery. So this area is related with the maxillary artery. Now this is mandibular notch between the coronate process and the condylar process. This is mandibular notch which passes masseteric nerves and vessel. Now this is condylar process. This is head of the mandible, below that constricted around neck of mandible, and anteromedial surface having a small fovea. This is known as pterygoid fovea. This pterygoid fovea gives insertion of the lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, now around the neck gives attachment of the capsular ligament, the temporomandibular joint around the neck. Now one more ligament of the temporomandibular joint which is related to the neck, lateral surface and the posterior border. This area occupied by the lateral temporomandibular ligament. So around the neck, attachment of the capsular ligament, and the lateral surface and the posterior border gives attachment to the lateral temporomandibular ligament, which two are the true ligaments of the TM joint. Now this is coronoid process, Coron process having a tip, anterior border, posterior border, lateral surface and inner medial surface. Now insertion of the temporalis muscle on the tip, anterior border, on the medial surface and slightly over the lateral surface. This medial surface of the neck of the mandible is related with the one nerve that is known as auriculotemporal nerve. So that's all about the attachments of the mandible. Thank you very much.